I just had to let you know you're.
So, good day, sir. I am Cristina Inez from Basic Math 1B. This is my project in trigonometry. How can we graph cosecant function? It's important to understand that cosecant is divided by 1 over sine, and if you can graph a sine function, you can graph the cosecant function. So the rules for cosecant is similar to the rules for the sine function. If the period for sine is 2 pi, the period for the cosecant function will also be 2 pi. The amplitude of sine varies between 1 and negative 1. Sine starts at the center, it goes up, and then you know the routine. Now, what I'm going to do is draw a dashed line instead of a solid line. So, this one. This is what I draw, the dashed line. And everywhere the sine function touches the x-axis or the midline, you need to draw a vertical asymptote. So, I'm going to indicate that in a red ball pen. So, this is the asymptote ang akong gi-drawing. And then, cosecant is going to share the same y value as sine at the highest point and at the lowest point. That's a 1 and a negative 1. All you need to do is draw the reflection, and it's going to stay in the bounds of the vertical asymptotes. Kani siya. So, this is how we graph the cosecant function. So the secant we graph is secant. Secant is 1 over cosine. Let's begin by graphing the cosine function first, then we can graph secant. So we know the period is going to be 2 pi. And the range is negative 1 to 1 since the amplitude of cosine is 1. The range. Then cosine is going start at the top, then it goes down to the bottom, and then eventually back to the top. And let's continue it. So nagbuhat ra ko og 1 cycle. Now at this point, plot the vertical asymptote everywhere the cosine function touches the x-axis or the midline. So mao ni siya ang asymptotes. That's where you want to draw the vertical asymptotes. So naaman diri mong vertical asymptotes, and let's graph it. So this side is going to look like that. So ug mag-graph ka, mo inana na siya, ari siya sa maguna sa top. Sa top, then sa bottom, then balik sa top. So that secant, it's very similar to cosecant. It's just been shifted. So same ra siya sa cosecant but shifted ang secant. How can we graph the tangent function? What's the genetic graph of tangent? Tangent has 2 vertical asymptotes that you need to know. The pi over 2 and negative pi over 2. If you type in tangent pi over 2 in your calculator, make sure it's in radian mode. You'll see that you'll get a math error because it's a vertical asymptotes. Now, tangent and cotangent differ from sine and cosine in the period equation for sine and cosine. the period is 2 pi over b, but for tangent and cotangent, the period is pi over b. B is still the number in front of x. So B is 1. The period for tangent is equal to the distance between the two vertical asymptotes. Notice that the period is pi over 1. So it's pi. If you subtract pi over 2 minus pi over 2, you're going to get pi. Tangent of z is 0, and it's an increased function which look like this. Ano siya? Increase, which is positive diri and negative area. That's a rough sketch of the tangent function. Let's graph the cotangent. Our example is 2 cotangent x. Now we know tangent is an increase in function. So this is the positive tangent and the negative tangent, the increase and the decrease. Negative tangent is decrease in function. It looks like this. Now cotangent looks very similar to negative tan, or negative cotangent is similar to positive tan. So positive cotangent is a decrease in function. So kung negative siya sa tangent, mahimo siya positive sa cotangent. Kung positive siya sa tangent, mahimo siya negative sa cotangent. The vertical asymptotes are not the same as they are in tangent. The vertical asymptotes are x equals 0 and pi and 2 pi. X equals 0, then pi and 2 pi. Keep in mind the period of the tangent and cotangent, it's pi over 2, so pi over b, so b is 1. As you can see, the distance between the vertical asymptotes. Kani siya. Or it's not one period, but it's half the period, so just keep in mind of the little difference. So now let's go ahead and draw the vertical asymptotes. We also have 1 at 0, so kani siya 1 at 0, and pi, it's going to be pi over 2, and it's going to be pi over 2, and between 0 and pi over 2 we have pi over 4, and between pi over 2 and pi, it's 3 pi over 2. Now in the middle at pi over 2, cotangent will be 0. At 3 pi over 2, typically it would normally be at a value of 1, because we have 2 in front. It's vertically stretched by 2 units, so 2 man, so dahil mo siya 2 yang units. Now we need to keep in mind that cotangent is a decrease in function, so it should look something like that. Kani nani siya. So at pi over 4, it should be at 2, and at 3 pi over 4 is in negative 2. So this function is going to look something like this at the x-axis. Make sure that it becomes horizontal, then it's going to be vertical again, and then everything else is going to look similar. So nagikan siya sa positive 2 down to negative 2. This is what look like the cotangent, the decrease in tangent. Mao ni siya.